Well, a lot has been happening over the last couple of months.
We are 3 days from the launch of this collection, which some of the artists in it have been working on
I
their
would
pieces.
characterize it mostly as Courtney working frenetically with the artists to keep them on track, because we obviously have a deadline with the exhibition that's taking place on the 25th.
First, we built the atlast.world gallery. Portfolio, links to the artworks, you can buy them. Pretty straightforward. Then we built the object gallery, which is on, Tezos and ETH platform. So, yeah, we have received some incredible artwork that we are excited about showcasing, both physically and through object.com, which we are honored to be on your homepage at our launch. And then we built the cyber gallery that represents all of those in a metaverse version of space, which is super accessible with your phone. And then we built the physical gallery.
And of course, we're doing this in a venue that is a very old building.
The building itself, is historic.
All of the industrial wiring has been decommissioned and torn out, or left open and exposed, and looks kind of scary that you could put your hand into a junction box that might be live, you don't know.
We trucked in power. We had a truck physically parked out front that could power the Empire State Building. We had these beautiful screens to display several of the works that were, room size, and they required 3-phase power, which is not in a building like what we had, so that had to be trucked into.
In my mind, this is what one usually thinks of a portable generator, not something that is the size of 6 porta potties stood side by side on the back of a pickup truck and weighs a couple of tons. Yeah, so 10 tons of portable generator parked on the sidewalk.
I asked people that were very talented in film, tech, lighting fields to kind of lead the charge in different ways of setting up this one exhibition, which is the grand opening exhibition, and the test to decide whether or not we were going to do any other collections. So pretty important.
We are doing good. We're feeling really good about everything. We're just cranking along.
And Benjamin Gravett is who I selected to do basically the GC overall.
I'm not a traditional artist by any sense, but I enjoy working with them to try and make their pieces what they want it to be.
A lot of logistics of the building were not right, but the feeling of the building was right, and that's what we had to go with.
So when we open our doors tomorrow, I really don't know what to expect. So far, we're about 30 hours ahead of door opening. On the face of it, it's going to look like an art exhibit that you would see in a gallery. But there's, of course, the whole virtual aspect of this as well. And each piece is actually represented with an NFT. So it would be really interesting to watch how people interact with that, because it's far from a traditional gallery opening.
Right now we have about 1,000 RSVPs that will be getting a dropped wallet if they don't have one already.
One of the great strides that's been made was coming up with a QR code to be able to download a wallet.
And I will say that object.com has made it possible for credit cards to be utilized.
So you can make a transaction without having to go through a massively complex wallet setup.
That is a huge step.
And so this hopefully will allow people to acquire an NFT a lot easier than has traditionally been the case.
Because if I can build that, I'll make I mean, it's nothing. I printed all of these in a day.
Really?
Yeah.
You have a fast printer. So are we gonna have the printers in here performing?
Today I'm working on the installation. I've already put together the two icons, the Lumos Tower and the Donna. So now I'm showing the process by putting 3D printers in between those two icons and showing how you could interact with the files. I would like to, but it smells because it's SLA, it's not PLA. So on one display, the Lumos, the light is coming down and the light is interacting with all the facets and the holes and the stars and the grid. And then on Donna, the light is shooting up, illuminating it from within. We would like to get to the point where we are shining the light through the Lumos and you can see kind of this like gridded, fractal almost kind of pattern on the walls. We're working on it, we'll see if we can get it done, but no promises. That's kind of like what the birth of the universe is. A lot of my work is like focusing on that right now. Courtney and her squad did a lot to create like a safety net, a lot of support, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it's like hard to even know how to use the support sufficiently.
Do you have sculptural pieces going on the wall? Or is the intention?
That was supposed to be the sculptural piece on the wall.
Okay.
But whenever I needed something, they were like right there, like, yeah, we're here to support you.
No, that one's okay. This one is delicate.
And in the beginning, I didn't know the breadth of what an NFT can be and how it can be used. Now I have a better understanding of what it could be.
Oh yeah, that's gonna look so good with this. That's gonna look very sick.
Right, and then we'll have the DJ over here. This is totally going to be the party room.
This is the
Everyone will
party
hang out.
room. Yeah.
And then also when you think about it from the perspective of the artists had a concept, but bringing that concept to reality with the technology. You know, it was something that they're not technical experts for the most part. Kate, for example, has this idea, I want to have a LED cube, and well, making that a reality was something else. And it ended up with having a 3-phase generator sitting out on the street, with a 150 meters of heavy-duty cabling running through a window across into the building, just to power this LED cube, which cost a lot of money to rent. And she was extremely grateful for seeing her idea come. Her vision come into reality, but she really had no clue of what was involved to make that happen.
So these boxes are for pixelated fog.
There was like a moment where she asked for a fog machine. It was like, we can't do a fog machine because we can't fog up the rest of the artwork. And I was like, what if we were able to suspend clouds?
So I'm trying to emulate and cross over paths with the digital artwork, meeting nature and making a bridge towards organic meets digital and analog.
There's still so much experimentation that, like the suspension of clouds was not Kate's idea. Like, this is a part of curation, right? It's like there's artwork and then there's experience.
Yeah, unfortunately in a space like this, fog machines are difficult because they like to set off the smoke alarms.
Yeah.
Ben's like, we're getting a fog machine in a tiny tube, and it's like, no, people can't see tubes.
And also it just goes everywhere, so you can't contain it in a single room.
And then it became this science project for like 5 of us. Like, how do we suspend clouds?
Bojana had this great vision, and initially she had 8 projectors that she wanted to use. Well, and high resolution, high contrast projectors. And conceptually it was a great idea, but when it came down to it, securing that many projectors was a challenge. So, Courtney had to work with her and convince her that she had to reduce the amount of projectors.
In order to have projection exactly where we want to. We need to have a space. My gosh, this is intimidating. This is the thing. Yeah, the thing is, when you project on one side, it's a beautiful projection on the floor, but then when people come in and walk, it creates the shadows, and then shadow covers up everything. So we need to have two projectors on left and on the right, but because it's a historical building, we can't really drill and put things where we want to, so we need to come up with creative solutions. There's lots of challenges, but it's art. I can tweak it, in After Effects. We work together. It's gonna be great.
She's got her way. She got more projectors and...
there was a compromise?
Yeah, it was a compromise, yes.
One of the first people that I brought into this project was Kris Pilcher, and that's because I respected him as a curator and a producer. As we started working into this and I was developing the curatorial plan, obviously we're spending time working through everyone else's artworks and figuring them out, and he was such an asset to everyone and giving them his all. We started talking also about his work and what he was currently into. And he sort of dropped a bomb in my lap and was like,
I've been working on a project with jewelry and using artificial intelligence to design these. So like the text prompts, you're familiar with Dolly.
These are what you're building right now?
Yeah.
Kris, these are gorgeous.
and I'm gonna 3D print the jewelry designs, and then I'm going to set stones in them that are meteorites. And I was like, what?
Well, I'm not a jewelry maker. I've never made jewelry before in my life. Maybe I made a beaded bracelet when I was a child. Artificial intelligence assists me in exploring new modes of creation and new techniques for creating art.
They're gorgeous.
I just need to bring them into the real world. So the idea is to have a one-of-one piece of jewelry that's tied to the blockchain, but is also designed by artificial intelligence. And also I'm using the artificial intelligence generated work mainly as inspiration to bring it into the physical world.
So how would you bring these into the real world? Describe to me. Is it a 3D printer?
Yeah, so the process, the way I think it works, so it takes literally years off of the process, the creation process of making something like this, right? So the text prompt for this was a silver engagement ring with a black jewel in the style of Frank Lloyd Wright, 3D render photorealistic.
Gorgeous.
It would take someone years of studying jewelry and studying architecture, and then being able to tie those two together in years of iteration time.
From that moment, I was like, how did I even miss this? Kris is absolutely one of the artists in the collection too. And so I asked him, do you feel like it's a conflict of interest to be an artist and also the associate curator on this project? And he was like, well, if you ask me like that, yes, it's kind of weird. And I was like, well, let me say it like this. I'm choosing you. If anybody has any questions about it, it's 100%, I think that you deserve and belong to be in this collection. And it was like completely right in front of my face. So he was the 10th.
What's fascinating about working in a sort of more digital domain is that your initial conversations with the artists and the curators is all conceptual based.
Okay, so if you can assemble that, sure. Then I will get some dry ice in a little while and we'll do a test.
Okay, cool.
What we're seeing now is those concepts come to life.
So this is just a test for our fog machine that we're gonna put in my room. So see how much. I wonder if I add a little bit more water.
What I'd like to do is see the container of dry ice in the actual cube so that we can see how it'll actually fill the whole cube and interact in there instead of pouring out the side as it is now. Okay. So.
We will have these plexiglass boxes that will have dry ice in them. And then it was like dry ice a box within a box, hot hands.
You've got two issues. Things freeze to the point that it sticks to you. If you touch it with just bare skin, it will burn you. And the other thing is when you have it in an enclosed space, you risk suffocation. Sorry it didn't work right now, but
It's okay.
I think we got it.
It's trial and error. So.
We're learning.
And I mean, it kept, you know, it was experimenting to try to make it happen. Everybody really wanted to see this happen. I wanted to see it happen.
And so we had to do this. We had to go big. You know, it had to be a great event. But whether it was going to be a great event is another thing.
A jungle.
There was a lot of trepidation about, you know, are we going to be able to pull this off?
Got the big mama.
And then we're also seeing how the artists themselves are having to adjust to the realities.
We are doing lots of projection mapping. We feel good about it. I solve it by tonight.
We've already seen some adaptations being made, you know, because they have this vision, and then there's limitations.
The work I do is on site and site specific, and usually dealing with light and computers and human interaction. So I just wanted to do something still physical in this world that had to do with the blockchain, and I wanted to try to do an installation that kind of critiqued the blockchain a little bit.
Pablo Nieto, you know, he's like actually hacked the blockchain.
I don't think I hacked the blockchain. If I hacked anything, I think I hacked the concept of the blockchain, where the idea that something can't be changed is changing.
By way of collaborating with ChatGPT also, which is funny.
It didn't give me the idea for it or anything. I already had the idea, but it helped me figure out the language for the piece, and I ended up calling it Conditional Decay.
And created like a automatically personalizing lamp.
And it's about the deterioration of humanity and technology and how they're intertwined. And specifically for this piece, I'm using the Tezos blockchain API, and I'm looking at my specific address, and any transaction that occurs on it creates a change in the code for the light installation.
Once the transaction's made through the internet, that's deep.
Yeah, with Courtney, we were saying the piece was going to look like a chandelier, and that quickly turned more into what is a chandelier. It does consist of diffused LED strips, and going to be on a ladder and trying to figure out the best hanging composition of these strips. The wires are gonna connect to the closest wall that'll have the Raspberry Pi and a little screen kind of depicting a little bit of what's going on behind the concept.
That looks amazing. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Thank you, guys.
Alicia Renee Ball, digital world builder. Okay, so like she knows a lot of what's already involved in digital creation. So she started sculpting. She like went the other direction. So that it casts the shadow. Right? And it's like very interesting that like, okay, everybody's experimenting like in totally different directions, including like making physical work when you're a digital builder. And so I think that was a really important piece to the show.
Most of my work is an exploration of the divine in subtle and etheric concepts. So the sculpture is called Etheric Object, and it is a part of the series, Access Point, the portal, and portal code. It's supposed to look like a liquid ring that's suspended into space. It's actually based off a ring, a silver ring that I casted and made.
Fahamu Piku is an incredible artist who has been successful in Atlanta and across the world.
After talking with him, he really wanted to understand exactly what his limitations could be. And so I brought in Chris Pilcher, who is a technology-based designer.
The reason that we went with LED is because I wanted the light to be emitted, as opposed to with a projection, you've got reflected. With this emitted light with these super, super brilliant colors of his background, the viewer literally bathes in that light.
He's helped me design 50-acre parking lot light shows that are accessible with your iPhone.
We wanted a small spacing, small pitch, because the viewer is going to be close to the work. As we wanted as close as we could get, because the viewer is going to be this close.
I knew he could figure out how to deconstruct Fahamu's paintings and reconstruct them however he wanted to do it.
There were a few moments where Courtney was pretty stressed out.
I definitely got mitered in the details of how things are built more than I have before. Spotlight on this so that it casts the shadow here. Because there was so much to do and everyone needed support in so many different ways, our team got spread thin. There wasn't anything that we could like nix to save time, so I became the person that was minting the work. That was not the plan, and I had never done it before. But, you know, when you're determined, you figure out how to do stuff.
One of the intents and differentiators about this was that even though it was minted on the blockchain, the NFTs would be purchasable with a credit card.
And so I ended up minting the work.
She mints all the works, lists them.
My eyes were like bleeding. I think it was 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m.
And so we were making a big deal about this as being a innovative approach.
Then the next morning, I'm on my phone and I go to try to buy something with a credit card.
The credit card feature was not showing up.
It's like 8 a.m. and I'm like, wait a minute, where's the credit card button? And I am losing my mind trying to figure this out. I've got Kris doing like deep research. You know, I'm like calling people. Every other piece on the marketplace has a credit card button. Why does our whole collection not have a credit card button? What is going on?